Hello, Judith Raymer here with FlickDirect, and I'm sitting here with Chiwetel Ejiofor today for the new film Maleficent. Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure, thank you.
I want to start off with the wings.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just the wings, because I wanted my own when I was watching the film. How cumbersome was it? I imagine part of CGI, but part of it was actual costume.
Yeah, very helpful to have the wings that I had on when we were shooting, just because they were actually a kind of guide for what the wings, the width of the wings in the resting position, you know, which is still quite big. Yes. So it would be able to, you'd be able to judge how far you could stand away from everybody, and when you were turning, whether your wings would hit anybody, and all of this sort of stuff. So that was quite useful, you know. Not incredibly comfortable, but useful.
Have you ever had a costume requirement like that was that imposing?
No, I haven't.
That was your first?
Yeah, I haven't had a costume that you know, the first full test I had was 5 hours, so I haven't had a costume that was that sort of involved, or kind of makeup and, you know, hair and makeup that was that kind of full on. But it was great. I mean, I loved going into the, you know, going down the rabbit hole into this kind of very sort of mystical fantasy realism. You know, that kind of world is wonderful.
Well, sure. You did a dark fae? Is
dark
that what
fae, yeah.
Dark fae.
Yeah, exactly.
Mordo is master of the mystic arts.
Well, that's true.
How do you feel about the possibility of other worlds or dimensions and creatures that might inhabit them?
I mean, I've seen no evidence of it myself, but as soon as I do, I'm sure I'll be 100% convinced. But until then, you know, I'm going to have to make do with this reality that we have.
You have an amazing array of characters and roles that you have embodied: film, television, theater. Do you find it challenging to bring something? To make each character fresh and original, or do you find it essential to bring a piece of all the characters you've had before? Does that?
I think it's always a combination, you know, which is what, you know, I just think there are so many different stories and so many different ways of looking at stories, really. And between every, it's interesting because between every part that I play, you know, life happens as well, you know, and you definitely integrate all of those things into the next part you play. And so, as a person, you know, my hope is that I'm always learning, that I'm always on a kind of adventure myself, you know, and that I can somehow integrate that into every character. So the characters can never really stay the same in the way that I interpret them, because hopefully I'm also evolving.
Is there a role or a production that you haven't had a chance to delve into that you kind of look to having the opportunity to do so? A type of character or production?
Well, I've been very fortunate in my working life, you know, to be able to have had the opportunity just to look at a very large sort of array of different characters and different genres and different sort of styles in the work. And so I guess what I'm hoping for is for that to continue, you know, and to carry on exploring all of these sort of different characters in these different ways.
It seemed, maybe it's just me, but I felt like there was some political and societal relevance in the film that we have. Were you keen on that when you took on the role?
100%, yeah. No, I definitely felt like the story is geared towards young people, obviously, and all of that energy and vibrancy of the story, and all of the kind of fantasy and the fairy tale quality of the story, just like in the first one. But as in the first one as well, you know, there are these themes and these very kind of important themes about identity, about family, about community, integration and segregation, and all of those things that we deal with in the world as adults, but also in this wonderful package, you know, in this wonderful fairy tale.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us
Pleasure.
today.
Thank you.